Just Talk Black Show. Disclosure Statement. Disclaimer. The views and opinions shared on the Just Talk Black Show are those of the hosts and guests, and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the show, its sponsors, or affiliates. This show is a space for open, honest, and respectful dialogue within the Black community. Some conversations may include sensitive topics, strong language, or personal opinions that are intended to spark thought and encourage positive change. Listener discretion is advised. All guests are responsible for the accuracy of their statements and agree to participate voluntarily. By appearing on the show, guests give permission for their audio, video, and likeness to be recorded and distributed across Just Talk Black's platforms. Let's talk real. Let's talk truth. Let's just talk black.
Real voices, real talk. This is the Just Talk Black Show with DJ Purpose. Every Thursday, 7 p.m. sharp. Every story, every struggle, every win we claim. We speak it loud, but respect on our name. Yeah. Let's talk black, we shine, we grow. Building up the people every Thursday on the Just Talk Black Show. From pain into pride, let the whole world know we're unfiltered, unite. Just Talk Black Show. We speak on the struggles, we celebrate with voices from the block to the boardroom within. Our stories connect us, it's deeper than chat. It's love, it's respect. Just Talk Black, Just Talk Black Show. Say it loud, let's talk black, Just Talk Black Show. Rise together, let's talk black show. Just Talk Black Show. Just Talk Black Show.
Hello guys and welcome back to the Just Talk Black Show. I'm your host DJ Purpose, and what a show we have, guys. This is a solo, absolutely solo by me, but when I mean solo, I mean that you are also going to participate in this. We need you to call in, and I'm going to let you know when the phone line is open, and let you know what today's topic is. Let's start about that. So today's topic is, are we actually really ready for true love in relationship wise? We're talking about the black relationship. So are we actually truly really ready for love in the black community? Or do we have a lot of traumas and a lot of pain and a lot of stuff to heal before we actually go into relationships? And just to let you know that the phone line number is to call in when I do open up the phone line will be at the bottom of the screen on your right hand side, if you can see it, which is 074. So let me repeat that: 07471539533. That is the phone line, guys, for you to actually call in when I'm going to open it up to you guys. But let's start off with last week. And I'm telling you, if you missed last week's show, you need to go back and watch that show. You know, we had Victoria on last week on the Just Talk Black show, and she was talking about black motherhood and how you can lose yourself and then refinding yourself. And I'm telling you, that show, boy, yep, one to definitely, guys, to go and watch. You know, so let's actually kick this off. And basically what it is about is, are we actually ready for true love? And that's a question, guys. That is a question for some of us out there. Are we really ready for true love, or are we just tired of being alone? You know, so let me just quickly go through a couple of things that I'm going to talk about, or not even talk about, just kind of hitting on some little notes. So who taught us how a relationship works? Let's look at that. Many of us are dating with emotional wounds. Wow, come on. Some of us are still dating and we still got some emotional wounds from the past. Love struggles when bills are feeling overwhelmed. So in relationship where bills are a problem in the relationship, sometimes struggling and it can feel overwhelming, it can affect the relationship. Let's also look at let's also look at communication, guys. How important is communication out there? In a relationship, how is it important? Is it important? Communication. And then let's also talk about vulnerability, being vulnerable in a relationship. Do we let our guards down to be vulnerable in our relationships? And, do we trust them and everything? And can we let our guard down and really be fully open with our partners, So I'm just gonna kick it off. Let's just kick this straight off. Anybody out there now? I'm gonna be literally open up the phone line, and I'm gonna open it up now. Literally, I'm gonna open the phone line. So you can call in, guys. Let me just get that number. It's 0747153933. And I do want you guys to participate. This is where you guys actually get to call in and say your opinion. Let's talk about relationships in the Black community. Let's talk about if you've been in a relationship and how you felt as a Black woman or as a Black king dealing in our community, and what effect has it had on you, or what good impact has it had on you as well. So let's open up those phone lines straight away. If anybody wants to call in, and we can have a discussion about it, that phone line is open. I know people are going to be shy. I can see people in the chat already, see people online, but let's kick that off. So let's ask, what does it really look like when you're really in love with someone? Can someone out there tell me in the chat, what do you feel like it's like when you're really in love with somebody, and what does that look like to you? Let's kick that off. And then let me look at some other stuff that we can also look at. Are we dating people, or are we dating our traumas? Are we attaching ourselves to people that triggers off our traumas and stuff? Are we feeling comfortable? And if the relationship is going good and everything's going nice, and then, because you're not used to that, calmness, you're not used to that peace, all of a sudden there's argument. So let's kick it in. I want to get Big D on the phone. Big D, if you're out there, and I spoke to you, and you're interested in this topic, you can phone up as well. Okay, let's get it going. Hello, welcome to the Just Talk Black show. Who am I speaking to, please? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're speaking to John Shimali.
How are you doing today, sir? You good?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I am doing absolutely wonderful today. We're talking about relationship. I know I spoke to you on the phone before, and you've actually going to be putting on a seminar. Is that correct? A seminar this Saturday?
Yes.
Okay, so let me just quickly bring that up before we have a discussion about relationships and stuff. Let me just quickly bring up your flyer so people can actually see that. So this is the flyer, guys. The pastor will be having a seminar. Do you want to literally tell us a little bit about this seminar that you're going to be putting on?
Now, the seminar I'm putting on is called Wisdom for Marriage Seminar.
Yeah.
It's an interactive seminar where we deal with topic about relationship, about marriage, and also single. It's more like a premarital and also postmarital. And now, when we share about certain topics, like the topic we're going to be talking about is called marriage and the family of origin. That is, how does our marriage is affected? How would it be affected by the family we come out from? As every family has its values.
Yep.
Two people coming together, and they have their own baggage, their own assumption, their own needs, their own fears, and their own talents. So we'll be looking at effect of the family we come from. Some family you find out that there's issue with trust.
Yep.
Some people they don't get married. Some people they get married, they got divorced. Some people there is certain issue or the other. So when two people come together with all these things, they have a need, they come with assumption, they have their fears, they have their talents, and they have their expectation.
Yep.
And how do we marry these things together? So we then go into group work and we based on a scenario of family and family of origin that we come from, and that is with culture, it is with the expectation from the community, it is with commitments, it is with all these things, and then on the case study, we break into groups, we work out based on that case study and our answers
Yep.
to the questions, and we will then come back together and we begin to debunk and begin to look at it. We will evaluate what is coming out from the different people. And there are panels who also are there to deal with question and answer, the filled in whatever people want to know. So it's really interactive. It's not me talking at people. I may talk for some time, but exposing the topic. But then I now leave it to the people to work it out, and then we'll see how everything married together. And it's
Okay.
very exciting.
All right. So let me ask you a question. When it comes down to marriages, they say in the black community that less people in the black community are now getting married. A lot of people are choosing in the black community not to get married or get married later on in life, in time. Why do you think this is happening within the black community, that we are now deciding to get married later on in life or not get married at all?
There are lots of issues, and I can't even cover all of them. There's many angles to come from,
Yeah.
but let's start from somewhere. I learned that doing some statistic about 50% of marriages they lead to divorce or never even start from the beginning. Or people are even afraid to get married because of some reason or the other. But when we look at it, persistent economic instability is one issue. When you have maybe lower wages,
Yep.
high unemployment, significant wealth gap between the black community, and when they come together, it brings stress. We want to belong. We're living in
Mm.
society. We want to do what everybody does. And then there's a financial strain. We'll go on holiday. We want to do this. So this can be a major driver to stress in the marriage, in the relationship, even with before marriage, and then it can lead to dissolution. And so you move from one person into the other, and you get to a stage you start looking for somebody who has money, you
Yeah.
know, and then money is not the
Not the answer.
hand and the
Yep.
whole of everything.
Yep.
There's also the impact of racism that people leading to elitist things. They said, "Oh, hey, it's been a long time ago, whatever." It's only people that live it that will know the effects.
Yep.
So when you then get anxiety, there's the depression, and there's increase in conflict, and
Yep.
this what is happening externally now comes into internal into the relationship. So
Mm.
it reduces marital satisfaction. Okay, so well, money, as much as there's that, then there's also incarceration rates. You see, a lot of our people represent a higher percentage in the prison system, and then leading to family, whether male or female, looking after the children. And when they looking after children is not a small job.
Yeah.
It takes two, even with two, the struggle. So when we look at it, one person, they have to do the work, they have to be the father and the mother, or the mother and the father, all of that. And they don't have much time to look at what is happening to their children.
Okay.
And then they leave it to the school to deal with it. The school will feed them with all kinds of things,
Yep.
which sometimes is against our belief, our system, and you got a lot of tension there. So, and also you got that conflicting gender expectation. the
Yeah.
power struggle,
So, so let's.
the challenges to black masculinity.
Yep.
All these things go on there. Unresolved childhood past relationship.
Yeah.
You carry that baggage into the new one, and
So
it's not being resolved.
so let's take it back.
So,
Let's take it back from the beginning because I want to take it back from the beginning a little bit, and let's start back from the beginning because before we even think about marriage or anything, before we think about marriage,
okay,
I think as a black community, we need to have that education at home, at first of all at home, because they say things starts at home first. So when I was growing up, and I know a lot of black people who has told me this as well, that marriage, love was never spoken about in the house. It was never a thing that was really spoken about. So from we're growing up as a young child, where do we get our insight of what love looks like and how to love somebody? Let's start from that point because it's if we can get the beginning right and the foundation right in ourselves first, because it starts from within us first. Everybody has to take accountability for themselves first. So I believe let's start from the beginning.
okay.
We are not
Starting from
we are
yeah,
not
go on.
taught in the house, first of all, of what is love and how to have a relationship and what we should look for in a relationship. So let's start from that point. What's your point on that I've just said to you?
My point there is that if we go back
Mm,
into our parents and our parents, whatever, they just exist. They meet each other and they hook up and then they have children. Some get married, some become baby mamas, some have many uh, women
yep,
and all the life, right?
yep,
And so they don't really have time to impact the family. What are they going to teach them? You just meet somebody, you just produce babies or whatever, whatever.
mm,
But then, if we go into the traditional, let's say, African society,
yep.
where it comes from, there are procedures,
Okay. What are some of
right?
those procedures? What are some of those
Some
procedures?
of some of the procedures is that you see you you are taught about marriage into some extent, and you are prepared, especially the women. They are prepared for marriage. The mother will educate them in everything they needed to go into a successful marriage, and the father will educate the male on what it is to go into a successful marriage. So basically, the responsibility involved in it. Maybe not much of emotional issue, the love and the care, whatever, because they're busy surviving. And that is their system. So now, moving forward, that passes on to another generation and another generation. And then we get into a place whereby the relationship is lacking in that intimacy and whatever. We just survive,
Yeah.
persist, right? And that list, the foundation is very important. And this foundation is not great. What we find is that we just look at what we see and we reproduce it. And what
Mm,
we see may not exactly be all good or all bad. Okay, there's a cultural system, and that also is quite good. We can't discard it. And
mm,
so, and if you now say you find somebody you want to get married, they now there will be pep talk about what marriage entails and everything like that, especially to the women and to the men to some extent. Now, so they have something they are taking. Maybe they become replicate what they see in their father and their mother
yep,
do, or what the society is telling them, because they say it takes a village to build up a child.
yep.
So that moving along into the modern age, um, we find out that because people are busy trying to make the money and going up there. They don't even have time to sit down. Just say, oh, you come back. Are you all right? Okay. What's your own work? Whatever. Have you done it? And then they move on. Or they are doing 2 or 3 jobs. Remember, I mentioned earlier on
Yep.
that the economic thing. They're doing 2 or 3 jobs just to keep a roof. And they believe that that is love. The same thing happens to between people that are married. They think that is love. And when you look at that, later, maybe the woman, usually the woman will throw at you and say, well, okay, you provide money, but you didn't give me intimacy. You weren't there for me. And I say, well, but I provide this and I provide that, but that's not what I want. I need more than that. Right? That is causing a lot of trouble. Now, let's look at a solution because you talk about problems.
Yeah.
Now, I believe in premarital counseling. I believe that we should, organize a course, especially within the churches or wherever they do that. And I'm sure in the mosque they do things like that as well, in a different way. But I'll talk about what I do know very well. It's like people who want to marry, let's say you are Catholic, you have to go through certain courses called premarital courses or whatever until you actually can prove that you finish that and you get a certificate before the priest marries you.
Yep.
In other Christian denominations, also, you require to attend premarital courses where for a certain week they will take you through issues like what is required when two people come together. They take you through about finances, about sex, about emotional, holding your emotional relationship together, and about what you need to do when there's a problem,
Yeah.
how to handle problem. So people go through the normal thing and they don't even want to learn. Some people attend, some people don't attend. So these issues of no training, not knowing what marriage, you just think it's all about getting together and it's a sexual part of love. And that's just one part of love.
So should a
That
should a single person who is single do a marriage course, even though they are not married at the moment? Should a single person attend something like what you're doing, like as
if they are planning to get married, yes.
so only if they are planning? So what about people who are saying, I want to get married in the future, I want to have a husband? Should they attend the course? Because this is what is about. Is about having that. To me, is about having a foundation that at a very young age, marriage, love is taught from a very young age, and what it is and what it isn't, so that we can come out of the black community and stop having all these different relationships with different people, and we can try to get it right. We won't 100% never get it right because it's impossible, but we can start trying to make improvements where there is a lot of relationship that happens that breaks down. And I feel that a lot of these relationship breaks down is because of we haven't been taught, or we're trying to mirror or something that we've seen in our past or when we're growing up, or maybe how our parents was growing up. They, maybe one parent cheated and then, it continues on. Maybe the son starts doing that as well, thinking that's okay. So this is what I'm saying, is that even though I know you're doing a marriage course, I still think that this should be taught. Marriage, all these sort of stages, because there's stages, before you get married. But to have that impact of what a marriage looks like, I think is very important, definitely very important.
I agree with you. On being taught, it depends on where you've been taught. You
Yeah.
say one of education, there's education from home, education from school. Okay? And some of the things that our children are exposed to in school, while some are good, some are a bit destructive, if I
Yeah.
have to say,
Yeah.
right? And so the best mentor is the parents. And if they have got it right, or if they got it wrong, but they now realize they got it wrong, they can now turn the tide by coaching.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to go like, okay, let's sit down now and start like a school or whatever. But you see, in everything that you do, you will begin to educate.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, this is about that, this is that. They may not even know they are learning something, right? and you just give them, okay, come and help me with this, come and help me with that, this is how to make a home and whatever, is how to do this, is how to do that. And then there's emotional part. Yeah, yeah. What you model is what your people around you, your children or whatever, would also pick up. So if we model, okay, we're hard man, we cannot allow ourselves to go into our emotion or whatever, to express ourselves. But then there were male children will also think that it's really bad to show emotion or whatever, whatever. But there's a room for that. There's a room for keeping things, and there's a room for being vulnerable, and black male usually don't want to be vulnerable. They want to show the macho. They are the one in charge. And then when the economic value do not match up, then you see that the female will take the role. Basically, they're the one getting jobs and getting really good jobs and bringing more money. They want to take up the role. And then there'll be conflict. Okay, so going back to the teaching, I believe that any training starts from home, right? If the parents are not there to educate, consistently, the school will teach your parents. And if the school does not teach your parents, the society will teach your parents. And it may not align with your values. You see what I'm getting at? So
Definitely.
it's important. It's a combination of things.
Yeah.
Education and training. But even having gone that, that's why I'm talking about that premarital counseling, post-marital counseling. Even after marriage, you still need to continue to learn. I'm still learning about
Definitely.
marriage.
Definitely.
I've been married for 38 years. I'm still learning.
Yeah. Definitely, I agree with that. But all right, I'm gonna leave it there with you. I'm gonna give someone else a chance to call in. I do appreciate it. I'm gonna bring back up your flyer. So this is the event that you're actually doing. So guys, if you want to attend, it's at 7350 Kent Road, London, SE15 5JL. So guys, attend to it. Come on, support it. If you want to learn about marriage and stuff, why not go to this? This will be an excellent event to you attending. So I just want to say thank you for calling in the Just Talk Black show. I know we spoke before. And what is your actual name so people can know if they attend your event to look out for you?
Right. My name is John Shumade.
Yeah. Okay, John.
Of Agapol of
Okay. All right. Thank you, John. And thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you for calling. Hello.
Yo, how you doing, bro?
Welcome to the Just Talk Black show. That Big D.
Yes, man, that's me.
Oh, come on, Big D. Let's have this conversation. Are we ready for true love in the black community? Now, D, I just want to open up and just say, because I've known you and, I just want to put it out there that there are good black guys, and I keep on telling people I know good black guys, who've been married long. So just tell people how long you've been married for me, please.
Yeah, so we are in year 33.
33.
Yeah, we got married very young, in terms of 22.
Yeah,
and so in terms of that, there was a lot of judgment unnecessarily in terms of you're too young and all these things, where we had a lot of experience within our secular work. You know what I mean? I was working telecom. I was running a crew at that age, which is a big deal in terms of external works and the pressure that I had of being in charge of men that were older than me. And so it was expected that because of the church background, that it's almost like you wasn't mature enough there, yet you were mature enough secularly to have the secular responsibility. And so there's a lot of people trying to turn us off it. We were in the process of 21 years old, buying a first house and stuff like that.
Come on.
And so I'm like, if I got a mortgage and council tax and all this stuff, right? Like, I'm already being responsible. Now, this is not always the case, but this is what I would say, is that females in general do mature quicker than males.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. You'll see that in the school education system now. You'll see it that the females are probably learning quicker.
Yep.
I'm just talking about our community. I can't speak for the others. I can only speak for ours. But it's about, what are you mentally ready to do? Are you ready to open up, to be vulnerable, which is it's always a hard thing, man.
Come on,
That's one of the
vulnerable.
first things. Being vulnerable with your partner, putting everything on the table, your fears, your desires, your aspirations.
And
Because what?
let's talk about that part before we move on, D, that vulnerable part, because that is
Yeah,
so that is so important. And I think as black men we struggle with that, of being vulnerable.
yeah.
We struggle with that. And why do you think that is, that we struggle with that? Because when you come into a relationship, I believe it becomes a we instead of a I. So it's about sharing, everything with that one person. But for black men, we struggle to be vulnerable. Why do you think that is?
Because for me, I think there's always been a level of judgment on the black man. Um, the black man is the most persecuted man in the world. That's what I was told the other day. Now, I'm not saying that's true, but I do understand that narrative. And you know, the angry black man in the workplace, you see it. If you're assertive in not being abused at work, they label you angry.
Angry, yeah.
Even if you're the most consistent person in terms of you show up for work, you do your job, but the moment you're getting mugged off, and you say, I need to have a conversation here, because I really don't see my colleagues of the Caucasian persuasion being pressed like this. So when they press me at work, I respectfully clap back, not because I
Mm,
want to be confrontational. I want to let them know, one, in this current job, I am senior in what we do. There's only me and another black guy, that been with these guys for a decade. And sometimes it's not always respected. So sometimes you have to let them know that I just did not arrive.
mm.
And plenty of times, probably against my better judgment, I've taken myself into my place of work being very sick. Like last week, I went in and mama was losing her mind. What are you doing? You've been just mashed up all day and you're going to drag yourself to work. I was like, you know what, Sheen, I'm not going to sleep. I said, I might as well go earn some money. So I went to work,
Yeah, yeah.
and I got on with it. The other things I do, it's not appreciated though. So then I look at the relationship, and I say, that's what I say to my friends. I say this to my nieces and my nephews, and my godchildren that are of that age looking to date. I say, one, you got to start with communication,
Come
and
on. Come
with that
on.
communication comes trust,
Mm,
and then you learn to be vulnerable. That
come
way,
on.
if you got, I mean, we've all got childhood traumas, like, especially if you come from Black Caribbean, the islands, you come from the African nations. Trust me, there's some childhood scarring there, because whether we say our parents didn't know better, certain things that happened in childhood, you were saying that should have been a conversation, but it might have been licks.
Mm,
So so we so we're scarred from that. With my dad, he didn't like to beat. It wasn't his thing, because he said that as the eldest sibling of his 12 siblings, he took a lot of licks for his siblings from my granddad. And he said, when I have my children, there's got to be another way to discipline them.
yeah.
And so growing up, and my siblings might be listening to this, but they'll tell you, we feared my mum more than my dad,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because my mum could throw licks. My goodness, you
Same,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. My mom,
It
your
was
mom
like,
always was the one. Your dad, mm-mm.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so when dad came home, you were like, Pops, can I have a conversation here? Because I got licks and without a conversation. And he was like, why, go on?
mm,
And because he wants to hear both sides. So my mom that's her husband, so she's gonna get him first, and and tell him her version of everything. And I'm gonna say, well, you got to hear mine now. And as I got bigger in the house, I'm a big man. I'm standing 6'4" and built like a brick,
yeah.
right? So when my dad was looking at me saying, I got another big man in my yard, I got to have a conversation with him, because the licks don't hurt anymore. There came a point when I'm pressing weights and all that. Them leaks never hurt. I just smiled and like them crocodile tears, so they would stop. You know the ones. You kind of learn how to manage the game of discipline. But for me to be told that I'm not going anywhere, there's no pocket money, there's no basketball, there's no football. I'm locked down in the yard. I'm only going to church and home and school. Then those things hurt me more because I'm a social being. I want to be out there doing stuff. And so when I'm messed up and I'm locked down in the house, I realized that I got to do better as a young man because I don't like it. So then that discipline I brought into marriage.
Okay.
Where I said to Sheen, we got to have a conversation here because we're not on the same page. And we used to argue over the smallest stuff. The big stuff we pray about and get it done. The silly stuff we kick off at each other, and I'm like, whoa,
what is that?
Here?
Yeah. What is that, D? What is that? I like to know. What is that? Is that the little stuff we kick off with, but sometimes the biggest stuff we just
deal with.
With.
And I don't even to this day, it's almost like there's just a spirit that has to have you do a madness when you was good. Now there's a lot of guys that I work with, like now, that don't have peaceful homes. So they will finish work and they go to the cigarette shed. Me, I'm in my car. I'm gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there was a time, I never forget this, there was a time we'd been gone up to Liverpool. So we'd gone down to London, then gone up to Liverpool. So we've had like a 17-hour day on the road. And I get home and I've left my phone in the company car. And I'm like, yo, I have to go back. And this is a 12-mile drive. I've driven 12 miles back to work to see them man still in the bike shed after a 17-hour day smoking cigarettes. And I had to look at them and say, you lot home ain't happy, is it? You don't have a happy home. Because there's no way you're putting a shift like this and you're still here smoking cigarettes and chatting nonsense at 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's what was happening. And when I told Sheena when I woke up the next morning, she said, for real? I said, yeah, they were still there. So I'd done literally a 24-mile round trip to get my phone back. And these men were still there smoking cigarette and chatting nonsense. And me, I have a happy home. I can't wait to get home.
Yeah.
Not because it's perfect, but because there's love in the home. Last week when I was down, the way my missus looked after me with the ginger tea and the dry crackers, that's all I could keep down. You know what I mean? But she looked after me like a soldier, man. And that's all you need. Want to be heard, want to be understood. Because that's the thing as well. You can't be in a house where you're never heard. And that goes both ways. That's not just me on a men's side. I got to listen to my missus and say, okay, she's concerned about this. Tell me why you're concerned, babe. Because I'm cool with it, but you're concerned with it. And we have this conversation. And she'll break it down to me, or vice versa, where I say, this is why, because of certain things, like there's certain things I'll say her mum do. And they've all got it. She's the youngest of 7 sisters, right?
Yeah.
And they'll all tell you that they're nothing like their mother. It's not true. It's not true. They've all got a snippet of that. And she'll say something and I'll be like, yeah, there's your mum right there. She goes, no, it's not. I said, there's your mother right there. And I'd watch it with my father-in-law where I'd want him to clap back sometimes. I'd be in a family home and so I would be like, Pops, just clap back. I want you to clap back. If you clap back, I'm backing you. I'm going to jump in, even though it ain't my business, I'm going to jump in and back you because remember, he's surrounded by women, 8 females in his house.
Yeah.
Right, at one time. So he's the only male there. So when I married into the family, I was like, I'm his backup. I'm his bodyguard. I'm Pop's bodyguard in this moment. That if he wants to clap back at these females, I've got him. I ain't afraid of none of them. You know what I mean? I'm not scared of any of my sister-in-laws. I'm not scared of my mother-in-law. And we get on well. You know, we respectfully have these conversations and it allows us to grow.
Yeah.
And I think that may be missing in terms of home and school. If you learn relationships from
why do we say school? That's what I want to understand. Why is it down to the school to teach us about love? Why? As a black community.
No, I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying the school becomes the default because you're around your peers.
Yeah.
Your peers will encourage you. I remember when I was in my 4th year, it's all different now. I say 4th year because I'm old school.
Yeah.
Right. One of my brethren got his girlfriend pregnant. So So when he told me that, I said, brother, are you mad? And so in my mind, I said the logical thing was to tell my parents. But in that time, it wasn't logical because they were like, so you out there having random sex. So I was getting lectured like I was doing what my guy did. I said,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa,
yeah,
whoa, whoa, whoa. I said, because you know his parents, he's going to have to tell his parents at some point, and then they're going to ask you if you knew, and did he tell you? And I was like, why did I even say anything? But then obviously, we got like, so his dad was my dad's best man. So as families, we knew each other.
yeah.
So I just said, I need to get ahead of this and let my parents know that, boy, Desmond got his girlfriend pregnant. I don't know if he's told his mum and dad yet, but I'm just letting you know in case they call you.
Mm,
And they did call my mum to see if I knew.
yeah,
Because that's what happened back then. It's like, it wasn't like how we are with social media now. It was all telephone calls. If you messed up at school, school would call the house before you got home or attempted to.
yeah.
So
So,
I used to run home to try and get my version in before school called.
yeah. So you're saying part of the school that it could have maybe protected or stopped that sort of thing if they taught inside the school about certain things and protection and what love is and stuff.
Yeah, because
Because that's where the
that,
kids are most
yeah,
of the time. They're
when you
in that
spend so much
environment.
time, yeah, when you spend so much time in that environment, whether it's rightly or wrongly, you are influenced a lot by your closest school friends and then the teachers that you kind of really got on cool with. Because it wasn't every teacher that you liked, but the ones that you got on cool with, there's certain things they would do. You'd be like, yeah, man, like I want to be a bit like him. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I wanted to smoke a pipe because my English teacher smoked a pipe and he looked
Mm,
so cool with his pipe. But then I thought I want to be a sportsman, so I don't need to smoke. But when he was teaching and he'd lean out the window and light up his pipe, I said, look upon this bad man with his pipe. He loved that. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like,
definitely. So, dude,
but
what is the secret? Like, what you've been married for a long time, and this is what probably the audience want to really get to is that
yeah,
you've done it. You've done a long time in your marriage. Now, for people who hasn't done, maybe they've done 5 years, they've done 6 years, they've done 10 years. What is it? Is that how do we get to that point of doing like these long years and 33 and staying and not just going in and out of different relationships? What do you think that is? Because I know it's not just you. I know a lot of other guys who I know, who's
yeah,
growing up in the church and stuff. But these guys are married for a long time, very long time,
yeah.
and then I see friends outside of the church now who has been married and divorced and then in relationship after relationship after relationship. How is it that us as a black community can start changing our mindset of relationships to have everlasting long relationships that last?
Right. So we are looking at, like I said before, communication.
Yep.
And this might sound really spiritual, but actually praying together, it brings such a trust. And you actually like why we do twice a month, sorry, twice a month, twice a week, me and Sheen. We actually bring topics to the table. We did one before we came on the show. And like because my uncle had passed away, we're trying to we're doing stuff with my cousins and having family meetings and this and that. So a lot going on. So we incorporate all those things into what we're dealing with in our personal life, so work and what have you. And so that prayer is almost like an open communication to each other. So we're hearing each other pray. So we're understanding that we're having conversations. This is the thing. We put the phones down. Social media, I just said this to my niece. Social media, the music industry, reality TV, they are ruining the dating game,
Oh, come on. Definitely.
right? Like when my wife was at uni, we used to write letters to each other, bruh. No lie. We
Back in
used
the
to
old
write
days.
to each
Yeah.
other. I still got the letters.
Yeah.
I have still got the letters in my briefcase, in one of the briefcases somewhere. And someone laughed at me. He said, you kept the letters from uni. I said, when I read back them letters, man, I think, good Lord, we were going through loads of stuff as young teenagers. And at the same time, while she's studying, we're trying to, like, I'm starting to look for a property because we're going to get married once she graduates. And I'm working as much overtime as they will physically allow me to do because I don't want to get in debt in terms of the wedding, the honeymoon, and depositing on the property, all these kind of things. I was thinking ahead. I remember I was going to buy a sports car, DJ, and my dad said to me, "Brother, you can live in that car." I thought it was a trick question. I was going to get it was a Ford XR4. Right? That they was a bad boy team back then. The Ford X. I said, "Yeah, I'm buying one," because we had a contract with Ford. We used to do their body work back in the before I moved to telecom. I was in mechanics and body work, and they'd all saw me idea. And my dad said, "Deposit on the house. Don't you want to marry Sheena when she graduates?" I said, "Yeah, okay then." So Sheena going to live in that car with you? I said, "All right, I got jokes. Okay, cool. I hear you." And I didn't. He actually blessed me with a car before I got married. He was upgrading his Volvo. He said, "Right, hold this old Volvo, buy the house, get married, and then in a year or so, partake it and buy what you want to drive. Because now you've established yourself at 23 years old." And I said, "Okay." And that's what I did. And that was probably the best advice he gave me. He said, no. Buy the house. If you're serious about marrying this young lady, buy the house. Set up a home. Create a home for your missus. Because once you get married, that property can no longer be a house, you know. It has to be a home. And with that home becomes the lady's touch. When you go into a house and you see the decor, the curtains and the rugs and the carpets and the cushions, like, yeah, this is Sheen. I had to sit on there and say I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so the certain things where the female touch is just it's just superior in terms of that. She'll investigate this stuff and she'll say, let me show you some stuff. And we sit and the communication is the thing, and the trust. Like, I trust her. When she used to disappear on business trips for 2 weeks, I'm not busting my brains. I'm like, yeah, man, she knows how to behave herself. Likewise, when I used to go work away for telecom up in Scotland, she's not thinking I'm going up there and just jumping into bed with random women and doing a madness because no one is, inverted brackets, watching me. There's a trust there, there's a communication there, there's a respect for what we bring to the table, regardless of who's earning more than who at any period of the time in that marriage. When we moved abroad for nearly 12 years. We lived in 2 different countries, St. Lucia and in South Florida. And so we're literally on our own. We're away from the families.
Yeah.
So there's no point me falling out in St. Lucia to go where? To be like, we sit down and talk about it. And so you learn to rely on each other. And I think this doesn't happen as much, where it's so much surface stuff. You've got to get deep into, this is my spouse, you know. I've gone down the aisle. All of it, in sickness and in health, you know what I mean? All of it. I've said it. I've declared it to her. I'll put a ring on her finger. And I'm saying, right, I got to take care of you. I got to be your protector. At the same time, you got to love on me. I need to be feel loved. Otherwise, I pull away. If I feel like this is cold, I'm going to pull away. It's human nature. And so this is what I was saying to you about coming home, like coming home to a home after a hard day's work. If I finish work and all I can think of, yeah, man, I got to go pub or something, get a few pints in or whatever, I can't go home yet. Like, and I know so many people like that. Yeah, man, I know we're finished work, but I can't go home. It's a horrible way to be, because that's not a relationship for me. If you can't wait to go home, then something is wrong in what you're trying to build and establish. And that's with or without children. We never had children, not for want of trying. Some medical stuff went down from youth, and it made it quite difficult for us to get pregnant. Between us, we have 13 godchildren between us that we look out for, and we do the best we can. I'm a 2.0 dad to my eldest goddaughter. Once her dad died, that responsibility became mine, as in her relationships, her fears, I need to talk. It's 3:00 in the morning. I need to talk. Okay, call me. And it doesn't matter, because she knows I work nights, so she'll call me anyway. And we have some incredible conversations that she would have had with her dad if he was alive. Now that's my responsibility.
Yeah.
And so I take it seriously, you know. So there's so many layers to this.
There's a lot. There is a lot. There's definitely a lot, you know. But people probably listening as well and say, well, how do I find a good guy? How do I find a good black man? Because I hear a lot of women say there's hardly any good black men out there. Well, I know there is, because I know a lot of good black men out there. So a lot of the listeners might say, what do I need to look for as a good black man? What do they need to look for in a good black man? I think for me, straight away, it would be a God-fearing man. Straight
There we
away.
go. Yeah. God fearing, attentive,
Mm.
consistent. Now you have to remember, as we get older, there's going to be baggage. You know what I mean? It's just inevitable that there's going to be baggage. But how have you handled that baggage? Do you get yourself help? Right? And these things are important. Like when my dad died, I was living in St. Lucia at the time, so I had to get on a plane, fly back to England with my head bust up to come and bury my dad with my family. I spent about 3 weeks in England, went back because I had music commitments and stuff. I was a full-time session musician when I was in the Caribbean. So there's only so long I could have stayed away without losing my gigs and some income. So I went back, but then I went into a state of depression, DJ,
Yeah.
because in my mind I didn't get to say goodbye. I got the call. I came out the studio, rehearsal studio. My phone just went nuts, and I just thought, too many people are trying to call me, all in the same hour. This is not good news. And I called my brother in Tucker in New York, because Tucker would normally tell me when he's calling me. So I called Tucker and I said, bro, what happened is you have to call home, man. Pops is gone. I was like, what? He said, you got to call your mum. I said, all right, I'll home up, and I called, and then got that bad news, and I was like, wow. And then it was just, I got to get home. But I'm not too ashamed to say that in my grievance state of not understanding how this just happened so quickly, because my parents were on the way to come and visit us in St. Lucia for the Cricket World Cup. So they were literally a week away from traveling, and he passed, and my head was gone. My head was gone.
Mm.
But I masked it well in public, but in private, I just crashed. I was like, nah, man, what is this? And so I got the help I needed. I didn't wallow in it. And I encourage people now that when they have bereavement, grieve, but don't get into depression, man. It's when you get into them dark places, my goodness, you don't know yourself.
Yeah. And that's what can
And
happen in relationships as well. A lot of guys
yeah,
can come home and the missus don't even know that they're depressed. You know, they could be
right.
talking to them fine on the phone and they don't know that their partner is really depressed or gone through a depression mode. And you know, but that is definitely one of the things. And I think the main key, what you're saying as well, is communication. But
Yeah,
taking it back from that as well, D, is that how can now people would say, because I always want to go back to the basics, and I think the basic is
yeah,
okay, I want to date someone, for example, me, let's take me, I want to date somebody.
yeah.
Should I be going with the mindset of just seeing how it goes? Or for me, should I have a mindset of what I want in a relationship? So I want to get married. I want to have, you know, a good future. I want to build a business and with my partner and stuff. Should I have that mindset? Or is it nowadays that people are going in the mindset of going into a relationship and just saying, well, I like him. I like the way he looks. You know, I like the way he thinks. But I'm just going to see how it goes.
Well, that is twofold in terms of exactly what you said there. There's always that I'm attracted to that person. You have the conversation, and in that conversation, you're probably saying to yourself, God, there's a lot of things that our minds are aligned to. You know what I mean? So then that becomes attractive. Now, I'm very old school in terms of I always feel, even if a woman makes initial contact, so this is for ladies that are single out there, the man needs to pursue, needs to show an intent,
Mm.
because then I think that allows females to, one, be vulnerable in terms of open your hearts out, because straight away, you like, just talking to my nieces and nephews, and when they're trying to date, they're saying, it's all very, it's all a little bit intense because the expectations are wild, because of social media, because of reality TV, because of the music industry, etc., etc., etc. You know what I mean? Footballers' wives and all these things we look at and say, look how they living. How about how do you want to live?
Yeah.
And base the relationship on how you want to live. Like you say, um, can we be good together as a partnership? Would you be able to help me if I started a business? Is there a role that you could eventually do and we grow this together? it's about growing together. But that starts with the trust. It starts with the conversations, and so you can do the dinner dates and all that. But for me, on those dinner dates, you've got to open your heart. You've got to say, this is what I'm looking for. I really want to settle down. If I'm at the age where children are still in the view, she was just telling me a friend of theirs that had their first child at 52, which for me is wild. But fair play. You know what I mean? You got pregnant and carried a child full term at 52 years old with no complications. That's a blessing. So you have to communicate these things. And while you're doing your nice dates, your restaurants and your cinema dates, all these things, in the drive home, you're having these serious conversations as well. You're not keeping it surface if you're serious about the person. If you see that there's something about this young lady, something about this young man that I feel we can build a life together, you got to start them conversations and then see the reaction when they see that you're not just here for fun and games or for sex. If you're outside of however you choose to live, I'm not judging on that. I'm just saying, like in my thing, they were so strict about that. When I was dating Sheena, it was like I went to Pizza Hut and got cussed out. I'm sat in a window booth at Pizza Hut in Coventry City Centre, and I'm like, somebody reported me to the pastor. Like, they saw you in a restaurant. I said it was Pizza Hut, and we were sat in a window booth. You know, they used to do this thing where you just pay one fee and get as many slices as you want and a refill drink. You know what I mean? You're doing them cheap dates to make the money stretch. You know what I mean? But you were still making the effort. Now it's about Groucho Grill and now them big time restaurants, Argentina, Brazilian steak. No one's going to know. You can't take a young lady to Nando's now. You're joking.
And you know what it is as well, D. What I want to say to people out there, and this is a real thing. People can see dating as a fun thing, and I just want to get to know him. We're having fun, and we're not doing nothing, and this and that. But what people has to start realizing, it gets to a point in life that you have to really look at your partner, and your partner that you choose would also determine how you succeed in life. Find a good woman, you'll be very good in life. And it's always said, behind a good man, there's a good woman. And it's vice versa as well. So I think people really need to understand that when you are looking for a partner, that it's one of your most important thing that you're going to ever make in your life.
Yeah.
Definitely 100%.
And this is what I would say as well. You have to be around the family as well. As in, once you are serious, you need to meet her family. The parents, the siblings, and see how they react together. Because once you're on your own, you're going to see some of them reactions that you saw with their siblings and parents. You're going to see it one-on-one. This is what I would always say to Sheen. I mean, she's not a heavy makeup person anyway, but back in the day, I'm like, I need to see you in your head wrap with no makeup. Because I know brethren that have dated women that never saw them without makeup until they did.
Yeah. I won't even tell you. I can tell you a story online, but I ain't even going to tell you that one online. Like, I'll get cussed out for that.
I'm not even running jokes because I've heard people say that my full beard is like makeup. But hey, I ain't gonna. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you think, that's what you think. When I shave it off, my face still looks this slim or this fat, with or without the facial hair. But anyway, that's another level.
Topic. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Leave that alone. But so very simple things. As like watching your parents' reactions, you watching her parents, and you learn to see the dynamics. Okay, this is how her parents are around her and around me now. Now they see me, they're comfortable with me, so they're kicking off at each other about something simple. I'll be like, what happened to these two here? You know what I mean? Because they're your examples growing up in terms of your examples of relationship and marriage. Because you're seeing the first people you knew and trusted that were in marriage was your parents, and then probably your a close uncle or a close auntie that lived near to you that came around all the time, and you're like, oh, auntie's married to so and so, whatever. And as you get older, you start to realize the family dynamics. Now, these are my cousins, these are my, and so they're your first examples. And then if you're in church, the next example is maybe the pastor and his wife, because he's the one with the high profile that's always on the podium and the pulpit. So you're saying, how's this guy with his wife? And you watch how he treats his wife as well. Well, you don't treat his wife like I see my dad treat my mum. And, you make up your own analysis of what you think is a good or a indifferent relationship within the circles that you're in.
Yeah.
And then as kids, as children, you're nosy as well. We used to eavesdrop bare times when the adults used to come to my parents' yard,
Yeah.
have their little conference and send us to bed. We on the step just eavesdropping. Because we said, what are they talking about down there? And then I realized what we talk about now in our 50s is exactly what they were talking about. But as kids, we were like, what? You know what I mean? Because the topics that were taboo to their children wasn't taboo with each other, with their circle of friends that would visit the house and what have you. And so, like you have children, you say, listen, man, you don't need to leave. This is a big people conversation. And we've all been in there where we've been asked to leave the room. You're like, but I want to stay because I know this is juicy, and that's just the child or the teenager in you. And so all these things shape you for relationships. What you see in your house, whether it's a fully married house or a single parent. That shout out to all the single parents that are doing an amazing job out there, because that's not easy. But there's a lot of them out there doing that. So we salute you for that.
Definitely.
And so you look at the examples and then you learn from that, and then you say, how can I better what I see? What's not for me? Yeah, that's not for me. I would never want to do that to my missus, or I'd never want to have a conversation like that in front of people. That's a conversation for when we get home if I'm upset. And there's levels of how you respect each other out in public and in private. You know what I mean? You can't be a demon in your yard, and then you're killing teeth when you're with everybody in a social event, because both of you know that what's going on there is a lie. You know what I mean? So can be consistent. Show up when you're supposed to show up. Just simple things. If I get somewhere far on my own, I'm driving. When I get there, I have the text or call and say, yeah, I reach, all right, man, say hi to me and I'll see you later, whatever. And there's these levels of, she knows where I've been. She knows where I'm going.
Yeah.
She knows that I ain't left yet when I said I was leaving 2 hours ago. I'm terrible like that. Yeah, just get into a conversation and, you ain't left yet. I said, shit, I'm still here, She's like, I'm going to my bed. I'll see you when you come into the bed. and that's how we are. But she knows he's on his way now. He's left. And just that respect, just respectful. So whether you're in it already or you're planning to be in it, there's levels of communication, respect, vulnerability, all of it.
Yep, definitely. All of that comes in.
And if you're not willing to do that, you're not ready for it, unfortunately.
Wow. Big talk that. And that's absolutely true. That is absolutely true. What would you say to people who are in relationship? Because I always believe, and this is my own opinion, I always believe that your partner has to be your best friend. Yeah, I believe that people do need their own space to do their own stuff. I get that. But couples, there's some couples think, nah, he go and do with his friends and she goes out with her friend, and then it's like they're never sort of together. They just come together in the house. And they say, oh, it works like that. Well, to me, personally, only to me, I think that your partner has to be your best friend. And she has to be able to go where you go. All right, say, for example, the man them doing golf. That's fair enough. You're doing golf, you know. But I've seen some people.
Yeah, as a golfer, she understands that.
Yeah.
That I'm golfing with a man's and it's not a problem. She goes out with her sisters and her close female friends. They go and do stuff. But we still do a lot of stuff together.
Exactly.
The traveling, the traveling, church, eating out. Like, we do these things. I constantly date her, DJ.
Yeah.
Purpose. I said, all right, let's go. Glad rugs on. We're going out. We're going uptown. And uptown might be Birmingham. Uptown might be London. Where Finn and I will drive for food. Where proper food is. We get in a car and we'll drive 100 miles for food.
Yeah. And you know what? It's as well.
You know what I mean?
There's another thing that I want to put out to the audience that I'm always querying about and always thinking about. That I always see couples and I always look at their picture and they might be going at like a happy couple. But you look at their social media, you never see their partner. But they're together. They've been together for like 10 years. They've been 10 years, 5 years. And that always says something to me personally.
Bit of a red flag, isn't it?
Bit of a red flag, because you never post your partner in your pictures on your social media. And I've seen that with many people with the pictures that they've got. It's just them and it's just them and a kid, but you will never see the partner. And I'm thinking, That's a bit weird. For me personally, people might just say, well, he wasn't there or did. But there's no picture of your partner in on
Ever.
your social media ever. It's just you and the kids. And vice versa, it could be the man doing that as well. I'm not just saying it out for women, the man could be doing that as well. But I question any man who is in a relationship with a partner for a long time and this is your one and
never
truly
post
love
it.
and you never post you and your partner together. And I'm like, nah.
Over the years, I've questioned bare friends about that. And it's always a stammering, can't get the words out when I confront, like, post your missus, man. You never post your missus. Why go on there? And it's long term as well. So you have to look at that and say, what are we doing here? You know, and when I've heard friends say, "Oh yeah, I should never have married her this young," and you're saying that in front of bare people, and I'm like, "Whoa, what are we doing here?" Like that's inappropriate, man. Like because now you're embarrassing her, like she's not a good partner or a good mother, and so your mouth is really what defines you. You know what comes out your mouth so often defines you and your character. Because people say, "Do you listen to what he actually says about his missus or his children?" You're like, both are a blessing if you choose them to be.
Come on, definitely, and that's the point that what you've just touched on. What I always say is that speak positive in your relationship from the start. Build that foundation. Build that positive talk about your partner. Tell her that how beautiful she is, how wonderful she is, how you're grateful that she's in your life. Powerful these words will bless your relationship. The more powerful words that you keep on using, so I always believe in a relationship that words are so powerful what you say, and you must. I know vulnerability at man, sometimes we don't want to tell a woman that how much we love her or how much she means to us or etc because men just want to feel like they're just tough, and if they say that, they're letting that side down in them. But I always believe in being vulnerable and expressing your love for somebody, because the more you express that love for that person and you're speaking that out to them, it's the more you find yourself easily saying it now, and that vulnerability side is more coming out and out and out and out, because now you've told them how you feel and they're accepting it. So it gets easier for you to allow yourself to be open. So I believe in words are very powerful. Whatever you say in your relationship will be a blessing to your relationship. If you curse your relationship, it will be a curse. If you say the person gets on your nerves and this and that, and it's always, that is going to be constant, keep on saying that. That word will damage your relationship. But if we just take the time, sit in their spirit.
It will sit in their spirit for sure.
If you take the time to tell your partner and keep on saying these things out loud and just appreciating, the relationship. But I just think within the black community nowadays, I think there's too much of the I and not the we's.
And before I go, this what I would say as well is that there's almost feels like there's a fear for committing to marriage.
Oh, come on.
This year, bear in mind, our circles are vast. We went to one wedding this year. There was one that was postponed for illness, and then we went to one on the 30th of December. So for the whole day of 2025, we went to one wedding. And I thought, this is wild. How is this on the 30th of December, our first wedding? So the whole summer, and maybe we're just not liked anymore. That could be it as well. But not a wedding invite, bro. And I said, I love that, because I'm a romantic at heart. Yeah, let's put it out there. Like, I'm a romantic guy at heart. So I love to see the young ones just tying a knot and setting up family and setting up home and getting on with it. I love to see that. So when I see that just having babies, I'm a little bit, okay. Did you not want to just tie the knot and just do a thing? So it's almost like it's become old fashioned a little bit. It's almost like you're a weirdo because you've been married 3 decades plus. So you're a little bit weird right now. And that's what it feels like. Social media has created that, rather than, that's what I feel. I feel like social media, reality TV has created that. Nah, don't bother with all that. Don't do no vows and much. Just go have your kids and live your life. And so some people will look down and turn their nose up at married people, like you're weird now, which is a shame.
And you know what that is, when you're saying that social media and TV and all that plays a big part. I was reading the other day, somebody sent me a video and they said the word television means like the television is telling you their vision.
Right.
Their vision.
Exactly.
Not
Of life.
of life.
Yep.
So they're telling you that this is the vision that you should have for your life. But
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to live life.
there's some programs that I've never watched. Some of them, Love Island and
Yeah,
all
I
them
can't do that foolishness.
I'm
Yeah.
just like, come on, behave yourself. And people embracing that, and they're like, yeah, I gotta watch
Addicted
Love
to it.
Island. I gotta watch Love Island. And I'm thinking, do you accept? And it's constant. People don't realize that it's constant. You know that when you watch the television, it's constant playing in the back of your mind, because whatever you watch and whatever you see is what can be portraying in your mind, and eventually you accept certain things without you even realizing. So that's why I say television, which they're telling you their vision for you, can be very dangerous. You know. That's why I don't really watch TV, to be honest. People might say, well, boy, you're mad, DJ Purpose. But now I watch what I want to watch. I watch something that's going to educate me and lift me up and, you know, get my mindset in the right set. You know, but D, thank you. I'm going to say, you know, really do appreciate you coming on. You know, what a conversation. I love the conversation that you
respect DJ
that you
Purpose.
have. But is there anything that you would finally say to the audience out there, you know, before you go on relationship? Would there one word that you like to encourage, or you know, somebody looking out there to date for the first time and they want a bit of advice? Is there anything you would like to say?
That's what I would say. Follow your heart, but go into this with your eyes wide open and ask the questions that you really want to ask, trying to move forward. Do not be afraid to ask the questions, because people that are serious about moving forward in love and in marriage will not mind that you ask these questions. They'd rather know than not know. And if you decide that you want to put cards on the table and share it all, put your cards on the table and be honest and move forward. But do not run from love. I'm an advocate for love and marriage, man. And when you love hard. Love like it's like your last day to love. Keep loving. And sisters, keep your heads up, man. Like the black queens, I love you, black queens, man. You know what I mean? I have a mother, I have mother-in-laws, I have sisters, I have sister-in-laws, I have close female friends, and I communicate with them well. So I'm like, yo, there's always someone out there for you. Do not lay your heart down and put it in a box. Like, keep your heart where it can be loved by somebody. And that might sound a bit fairy tale-ish, but the truth is, if you don't put your heart out there, you're never gonna know. Yeah, that's the truth. You're never gonna know. The world is too big for you not to find love, and whether that's within or out of the church. I think that's another conversation.
That is definitely another conversation.
But that's what I would say. Don't give up on love.
Don't give up on love. I love that. Don't give up on love. And the thing about it, what I'm going to say to people before they go is just working on yourself while you are single is very important. I've learned this in life that you've got to heal yourself from your traumas of your past relationship and question what went wrong.
Oh, most definitely.
And if you had a part to play in it, what part did you play? And you've got to be willing to learn and admit, to be honest and to be open and willing to learn. And definitely have your goals, that what you want for your relationship. But when I say have your goals and what you want in a relationship, is also to make sure that you've written them goals down, that this is what I want in a relationship. But when you've written them down, are you what is on that paper? Because you want someone else to be that, but are you what you've written down on the piece of paper?
Yeah.
You know.
And that's what I spoke about earlier, about expectations.
Yeah.
You talk about it and what you're expecting from me, what am I expecting from you? Yep.
Definitely. You know, but thanks Big D for coming on the Just Talk
man,
Black show. Yourself, definitely love it. Love the conversation with you all the time. You know,
have a good evening, yeah?
All right then, you take care.
Yeah,
all right, thanks.
Take care,
all right,
bye. Bye.
So, guys, I want a lady to phone. Is there any ladies out there who's in a marriage or who is single who want to speak about this topic? You can call in. The show is coming near to the end. And let's get those likes up. I will be doing a part 2 because this conversation is a very big conversation and it needs a lot more time to dive deeper into stuff. But I really want a black queen to phone in and just give their opinion on the black relationship and the black community. So let me see. Hold on 1 minute. Hello, welcome to the Just Talk Black show.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, we're getting a bit of an echo. You got something going in the background?
Oh, yeah. 1 second. Hold on. Is that better?
That is way much better. So who am I speaking to, please?
Candace.
How you doing? Welcome to the Just Talk Black show. What would you like to say about the black relationship in the black community?
I think, to be fair, that the issue is that we're looking to have love, but we're trying to find it outside of ourselves when we don't even know what it feels like to love ourselves first. So how can somebody love you when you yet don't understand what it is to love yourself?
Come on.
So
Definitely.
If we were to take the time out to figure for ourselves, what does love look like for me, without anyone contributing to my life, without anyone being a part of what I'm doing for myself, just me on my own, how does it feel to love myself? Then when other people are coming around, when you're dating, when you're looking for a relationship and whatnot, then you'll be in a position where you'll be able to identify and say, this person's love is not for me. Because a lot of us have a broken sense of love, whether it be from traumas from growing up or relationship issues, or we've just never experienced it. So we're just going by like the idealized Hollywood version of love. But when you've experienced it for yourself, by yourself, okay, this is what I like to do on my weekends. This is what I enjoy to do when I'm just at home by myself. This is what it feels like to be around a good, healthy family unit, whether that be a family that I've had to create because my family was toxic, or a friendship group that I've had to turn into my family, or whatever it might be. When you're able to identify love within yourself and how to pour into yourself, then you're able to see who aligns with you and those that don't. And instead of seeking any type of love just because you want to have love, you'll be able to then appreciate other people may not be where you're at, or you may not be aligned with what other people have to offer you.
So it's loving yourself first, you would say, the first protocol, which I think is you're definitely right, 100% on that. I think more time people are looking for somebody to love them so that they can feel loved. But if they only knew that if you work on yourself first, then it makes everything easier down the line in your relationship, because now you are not scared to open up or talk about yourself or be vulnerable because you know who you are. I could talk about myself where I had to do a lot of soul searching, coming out of bad relationships, and then questioning myself what was going on, and what was happening. And then to really dive deep in myself and find myself, and then really to start loving on myself. And I try to go through this mindset every day that even if something's going wrong in my life, that I'm blessed.
Right.
That I'm blessed, that I must love myself, that I must know that, times are hard and things are going wrong, but you know what? I love myself. And then when you can love yourself, now you can start expressing that love onto somebody who deserves to be loved, who recognize that and give you that energy back, because what energy you let off is what I believe is what you get back. So I always believe in the mindset of you should be ready and preparing yourself for when you're single, like you were saying, loving yourself first. Because when you do love on yourself, as you said, when you do meet someone and that energy is not right for you, you will know because of your mindset is correct. Number one, straight away. Your mindset, you're thinking, well, they're not for me. Things that I used to accept in a woman now, I don't
Yeah.
accept in a woman no more, because I know who I am. I know I'm a king. You know, I'm made from the Most High God. You know, so I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And from you know who you are, then you know who you're to be with.
Exactly it. That's exactly it. And I think the other issue within our community is that we're not taking pause to actually, everyone talks about having discernment and being intuitive when making decisions, but nobody's actually taking pause to understand what that is, you know, to understand that discernment isn't just a matter of being spiritually aware or being religiously in tuned. It's a matter of knowing what is for me. Not every opportunity is for you. It could be a good opportunity, but doesn't mean it's for you. So sometimes we say, well, this person seems good, they tick all the boxes, but we're not sitting with ourselves to say, but is this person for me? Just because they are a good person doesn't mean they're good for you. Doesn't mean they're bad, doesn't mean there's something wrong with them. That person, you could actually recommend that person to the next person, but it doesn't mean they're for you. And so especially in this era where things are supposed to happen fast, people will be telling you, oh, it's 1 year, you should be reaching this milestone. And if he or she hasn't done something at 6 months, then why are you wasting your time and whatnot? As if to say there's some sort of time scale to things. Like, yeah, of course, nobody's saying wait around 10 years and you're still asking, what are we? But at the same time, everyone has to move at their own pace. So you have to ask yourself, if you've come from a traumatic, abusive relationship for 10 years, nobody's going to come along, or nobody should be coming along to tell you, well, you've been with this guy for 2 years. Why has he not said something? Probably because you need to take things slow. You need to take a minute to really ask yourself, what's this guy like? Do I trust myself with him? Do I trust him with me? Can I take time out to actually be who I am? Am I shy around him because I'm afraid, or is it because of trauma issues, or whatever it might be? Similarly, you could be with a person, you might not have had many experiences when it comes to relationships, but then you say, okay, let me give things a chance. Are you now rushing things because we've got the whole, oh, well, you're a woman and you got your biological clock thing and you're 30, 35, 40 and all this kind of palaver. Now you're rushing the process, not realizing it because of all the background noise. And you could also be a man in the same regard, where you might have a certain type of job. And so being married carries a certain type of weight depending on your title, for example. So now you're feeling the pressure of that. And now you're just kind of like, I just need to find any good woman. Don't have to be the best woman, just any good woman. And now you end up in a situation where she's not bad and you're not bad, but you were never meant to be. So there's never going to be that harmony and peace that you need to have. We need to take a lot of pause to actually be discernful and listen to ourselves and not worry about the outside noise or how it's going to look or what I should be doing or think I should be doing, but actually sit with yourself and ask yourself, where am I? And what is actually aligned with me? And does my spirit actually align with this something that I think I want?
So more of a spiritual, what you're saying, really down to a spiritual thing.
Definitely, because your partner it's a spiritual matter.
Come on.
You're inviting this person into your home, into your life. Their emotional and spiritual baggage becomes your baggage naturally. So if they haven't dealt with what their dad said to them when they were 7 years old, and they haven't gotten over the fact that their mum was doing all kinds of madness in the yard when they were a teenager, and they're sitting here and they're dealing with what grandma and granddad used to be cussing each other out every Sunday dinner and there was no peace, they may not talk about these things. They may have accepted this is their family life, but if they haven't actually let that go from their life, they're bringing all of that energy into your life. Now you're wondering why you've always got chaos drawn to you, why you've always got disharmony manifesting in your energy field, why you can't seem to get things right when before things were going in a certain direction for you. This person's not necessarily intentionally doing bad to you, but their energy, their toxicity, their unhealed wounds are going to start pouring into you as a byproduct. That's even if they're not in a romantic relationship, even if this person's just a friend and we're just quote unquote seeing how things go, they're still in your life. You're still opening and holding space for them. So whatever's going on with them is naturally going to come into your life. And yeah, everyone needs room to grow. I'm not saying, find the perfect person that doesn't have problems. However, we need to look at these problems and say, am I actually supposed to take on these problems? We're not all supposed to take on everybody's problems. Sometimes you see a person's problem and say, do you know what? I hear it. I sympathize or empathize with that, but you need to stay left and I need to stay right. We're not supposed to take on board everybody's problems. But the issue is with us as a social media generation where everybody's openly going through something and everybody's traumatized and everybody needs work, we've got this mindset of, I need to help everyone, I need to heal everyone, I need to fix everyone. And now you're holding yourself back. You're dealing with stresses that aren't yours to deal with. You were not purposed to deal with these problems. This was not your portion, but you've made it your portion. And now, because you're so emotionally attached to the person, to the situation, to the length of time, you're now kept into a relationship that's toxic. And then you're blaming people that are bad. Oh, all men are like this, all women are like that. That's not what the problem is. You're making choices. There's a pattern to our choices.
Come on.
Whatever that pattern is, whether it be that this is learned behavior from my family dynamic, or, you know, I'm drawn and attracted to a guy that looks a certain way, but internally he is not the one, or whatever it might be. It's you that's got a pattern. So it's not that all men are the same, or it's not all women that are the same. It's that you're choosing the same type of man or woman.
Come on, definitely. You know what, and it's funny that I had that conversation with someone the other day, and you know, sometimes what I said to people is that we're quick to blame our ex-partners or our ex-person that we dealt with. We're quick to blame them and say, you know, they was a bad choice. But I said to people, sometimes you need to look at yourself and see why you keep on going through this, choosing the same sort of people. You know, because is it that you're in the same environment, you're going to the same sort of places and you're meeting the same sort of guys or the same sort of ladies because you're drawn to a certain area, or spiritually you're drawn to that side of that person, and that person's spirit is sort of joined onto your spirit because you haven't spiritually got yourself sorted.
Right.
You know, and I said to people, sometimes, you know, if you want to find somebody good, then you need to, number one, sort yourself out, and number two, come out that environment that you're in, because you're in a little box environment. So for you to find a decent woman or decent man, you might not be going to that same place in maybe East London or South London or West London. You might have to travel somewhere else where that spiritual person is not going to be in your normal places where you sort of go. You know, I speak to some ladies and they will go out with maybe a guy who's been in the club. I'm not saying all guys in clubs are bad or all guys who go to the pub is bad. But then you start drawing these sort of guys who are always going to the pubs and, you know, got certain things about them, or going to the clubs and got certain things about them that, you know, Monday to Friday might be out raving and they're not taking you. And then you question yourself and say, well, all black men are bad or all black women are this. But it's because your environment and your spiritual, you're not in tune with your spirit, you know, because I believe that your body is a temple.
Yeah.
And you have to clean that temple every day, and you can't let anybody just enter that temple, because that is your spiritual place, you know. So spiritual, definitely, I definitely agree with you 100% on that.
No, definitely. And I think one other thing that we need to take note of as well is that we don't really understand commitment.
Come on.
Like, a lot of us are getting into relationships because it looks nice, or it feels nice, or the idea of it is appealing. And, you know, don't get me wrong, everybody wants to have that level of companionship, but we don't actually know that there's loyalty, that you have to be actually committed, the honesty that it takes. A lot of people want to live double lives. You know, on the weekend, you're doing this with your friends, and then Monday to Friday, you're at home, or like it's a 9 to 5 type thing.
Yeah.
There's a level, like, you have to be committed to it. And people always say, oh, I'm not ready for that commitment. But everybody's ready to have a baby with anybody. People, you meet the person today, don't know their last name, now you're pregnant. And then now that's a lifelong commitment. You can't get out of that.
Yeah.
That's until one of the three of you die, essentially. But marriage, you can literally, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. You sign the paper, you're gone. We don't understand what commitment. We perceive marriage as this heavy weighted commitment simply because it means we actually have to be committed to ourselves first. You have to have a level of discipline with yourself first. You have a level of truth with yourself first. You have to be honest with who you are. It's not just about, I put a ring on her finger. It's not just about, I've got his last name. It's not just about, we've got a yard. There's actually foundational qualities and characteristics that you have to embody separate from that partner. Because if you're not honest, that's not just to your partner. That's going to be to your job. That's going to be to your friends. That's going to be to your family. That's going to be in your lifestyle. You'll be saying, I'm going to the gym. Meanwhile, you're not going to the gym. You're going to park up at McDonald's for 2 hours and come back and be like, I worked up a sweat. You're going to be dishonest in other places. And that's going to leak into the marriage. The honesty doesn't start when you say, I do. It starts from weeks, months, years before that, when you're creating yourself to be that person. But a lot of people don't understand that marriage, the wedding is a day. Marriage is the commitment that we're supposed to be making for life. That in ideal world, of course, you don't know, things happen, divorce may come along. You know, you can't control these things. But I don't know anyone that's saying, I'm going into a marriage and in the back of my mind, I'm prepared for divorce. Like anyone that's already going that way, you shouldn't even be in a relationship, mate. You're better off single. Like, just stay on the streets if that's how you want to be living life.
Yeah.
But we don't have that understanding of what the commitment is, because we don't commit to ourselves, and we don't really set ourselves straight. Like, we don't keep it real with ourselves. So how can we therefore then keep it real when we get into a relationship, when we don't even want to expand and understand what a relationship is within the Black community? Because a lot of us, the only ideal vision we have of a relationship is a Eurocentric one, what we've seen on the movies,
That's right.
what we've seen with our neighbors, and even that's not real for them.
Yep.
That's not even real for them. That's just what they want all of us to be in La La Land dreaming about. But when you look at it within the Black community of what a marriage is and what a union is, it's a completely different ballpark. The way we navigate things are different. The way we talk to each other is different. The way we handle situations is going to be different. But a lot of us are not prepared to actually make the changes within ourselves. A lot of it comes down to the self-accountability of it. You have to first look at yourself in the mirror and make the changes to yourself in order to be aligned with this perfect, quote unquote, perfect idea of love that you desire. And you also have to accept that you can't, love to an extent cannot be defined, because love is different to each and every single individual. If I was to ask you, how do you love yourself and how do I love myself, it's going to look different. There may be parts of it that overlap, parts of it that we can share, like, oh yeah, I do that too, or no, I hear that, that's how I feel about me too. But generally speaking, if you come and spend a day in the life of every single human being on this earth, no two people's days look the same.
Yeah.
The expression of love to yourself is going to be different. So how can we define love when there's 8 billion different expressions of that? And that's just when we're talking about us as humans. You look at the animal kingdom, the way a lion expresses love is even different to the way the tiger expresses love, and they're the same species.
Yep.
You've got the love that's expressed even within, like, gorillas. Yeah, they're cousins to us, but the way their family unit and their tribal unit works is different. We don't have an understanding of what human love is supposed to be like because we've been so far removed from it. But the problem is we're so afraid to reintegrate back with it that we'd rather stay in a broken type of love than reclaim that type of love that we're supposed to have.
So how do we find that what you're saying? How do we find that?
It comes with, first of all, you have to actually accept that you don't know what it is. When you accept you don't know, you can go on the journey of knowing and seeking. Because if you think you know, you're never going to look beyond what you already believe you know. Yeah. So you first have to accept, cool, I don't know what this is. And then you have to ask yourself, okay, what does it look like to me? So if you're saying you want a love, but then your days are spent being a couch potato, going to a job that you hate, you're always beefing with everybody, you're very angry all the time, you get on the bus and some lady with her pram that's having a bad day ran over your toe, now you want to do a whole hoo-ha. That's not a lovable person. Everybody's running away from that. But you believe you know what love is because love ain't real, or love don't exist, or I grew up on the streets. Okay, cool. Good for you. It's not that love ain't there. It's just that what you are and the expression of love that you're giving, you don't even want to indulge in that.
Yeah.
So you then have to then change and say, okay, cool. Tomorrow, when somebody is doing a mad thing when I'm out in the streets, I'm not going to react to that. Or instead of sitting around after work, I'm going to get up and go for a walk after I've had my dinner. Or whatever, find a new skill, go and join a new club, do a new activity, whatever it might be. That you might go to the class one time, you don't like it, but you've done something different to find an expression of yourself. And then when you start to do that, you then start to realize, okay, I like this. Spending time alone is important. Yeah. Where a lot of us spend a lot of time with people from work, you go to your 9 to 5 or your 8 to 6 or your 7 to 7 or whatever your times are. You're with people all day at work. And then you're on the bus, on the train, more people. And then you come home, Depending on your situation, you might live alone, which is cool because then you have time for you. But then even if you do have time for you, how much time is that spent alone? Are you just indulging in social media and watching TV and listening to podcasts, which aren't bad things? But if you're soaking up so much of your time doing that, then it means you haven't got any time to sit by yourself, feel yourself out, be by yourself. What wounds are there that you're ignoring, that you're running away from? What feelings are there that you haven't acknowledged? What energy is there that needs to be addressed in yourself? When you take that time to sit alone,
Yeah.
you're able to address that. So when you've gone through the steps of admitting to yourself that you are the problem, and then working through the problems within yourself, changing your behavior, and then learning to actually be alone, then you can actually start to understand what love looks like to you. And you can then start to actually find a love that aligns with you in other people. And it might not necessarily mean, you might even go through that journey and realize, you know what, I don't actually want to get married. Not because marriage is bad, but I actually don't want that. I thought I wanted that because that's what was force fed to us. Similarly, you might see you do want to get married, but now you're able to slow the pace down and say, do you know what? I need to change up the environment. I can't be going to the same place every week and complaining there's no good men. Clearly, the problem, like you were saying, is where I was going. Clearly, the issue is the friend group that I have. Maybe they're friends that are only good for this particular motive or for these type of environment. So I need to go and branch out and find a new group of friends. Doesn't mean you necessarily have to let go of the old. You might have to, but it means you have to be prepared to expand within yourself so you can find what you're seeking. But we cannot be doing the same thing and expecting a different result. That don't make no sense.
Doesn't make no sense. Does not. Does absolutely not. You have to change it up. Definitely, I know you got a company as well on what you do. Do you want to tell people what you do quickly? Come on, tell people what you do.
Oh yeah. So my business is called Original Goddess Earth Energy, and I'm a holistic health and wellbeing practitioner. So I specialize in body work and energy healing. I do regular workshops as well on body, mind, and spirit. So I've got another workshop coming up on the 15th of February. That's going to be all things sacral chakra related.
Yeah.
Looking at sex, sexuality, our creative energy, understanding the creative blocks within the community, what's holding us back, how we can move forward, reproductive health issues, because all of them are tied into each other.
Okay.
So we're going to be doing a whole comprehensive look at our creativity, our creative energy. And it kind of falls into a little bit of actually this conversation that you're having as well.
Yeah.
Understanding the relationship we have with ourselves and others and how we can unlock that. So always running workshops, I'm doing, like I said, body work, so massage, Reiki, crystal therapy. I'm a crystal healer as well.
Yeah.
Original Goddess Earth Energy is the name, so you can find that on Instagram as well.
Good. Can you put that in the chat so people can
yeah, definitely.
Put it in the chat for us so that people can find you, because I know we're going to have you on the Just Talk Black show soon as well. So that will be a very, very interesting conversation, on what you're doing and stuff. Definitely.
Looking forward to it.
Is there anything else you'd like to quickly say before I'm going to sort of wrap this show up?
No, man, it's just really for us to start finding ourselves. You can't find love in another until you find yourself.
Come on.
There's no way around it. We want to find ways around it because it's long, it's painful. You got to do it. There's no other way. And if you don't do it, your children are going to feel all the pain you've been running from. So if you don't do it for yourself, you do it for them. That's all it is. Just do it.
Definitely. Love that. Absolutely love that. No, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on the Just Talk Black show. Definitely today, so just appreciate what you've said. Definitely knowledge there that you've given to the people. And just really love that.
No problem. Appreciate you, man. Keep up what you're doing as well.
Thanks for that. Appreciate that. All right. You have a nice day.
You too. Bye.
Right, bye. And guys, I'm just gonna set one more call. If anybody want to quickly call in, I'm not gonna keep it too long because this topic is such a deep topic. As I said, this is part 1. I will be definitely doing a part 2 on, are we truly ready for true love? And what does that look like? What does true love look like in your eyes? Or what should it look like in the Black community? But I definitely say love, just touching back on some of the stuff that she said, it starts with yourself spiritually as well, making sure that you are in line with your spirit, so that when you do choose a partner or do choose a person, that you're at the right place. And I feel that sometime in the Black community, we're not at the right place, and somebody comes along I want to play the Superman or want to play the Superwoman and say, I would never do that to you. And you went through this and that. And we accept it because it looks good. And they start taking us out places and, you know, it looks good. And then after a couple of whiles, it fades away. You know, the person changed because they only done what you've told them. You know, you've told them at the first place that you went to on a date, yeah, I don't like this and I don't like this and I don't like that. Now they start doing that, or you like something, they start doing it. And yes, we need to have those honest conversation, that open conversation, but we need the spirit to determine whether that person's good for us, you know. And when you do find that person as well, you will definitely that person will be your comfort. You know, I always believe that when you find that right person, that person be your comfort, you be able to be vulnerable to them as well. And they will teach you stuff. I always believe that that person as well will allow you to express yourself, but also learn, you know, definitely learn things that you never knew before, that person will teach you and will show you that maybe you was holding on this thought or you was holding that thought. And now, because that person is right and in line with you, it allows you to start learning more stuff that you thought that you probably you didn't know that was there, or something that was hidden there, and that person's shown you to think, you know what, why do I behave like that? And because that person is in line with you now, they will show you without maybe even saying so much words to you, that you start looking at yourself and deeply start looking at yourself and you start improving yourself. I believe that when you do find the right partner, that partner will improve you in every way. You know, I've had a conversation with a person out there about relationships and stuff, you know, so big shout out to who, you know, she knows who she is. You know, we've had that conversation about relationships, so big shout out to her on that. Yeah, so anybody quickly just want to call in, I am going to be calling the raps today. This was myself, DJ Purpose, as a solo today. I will be doing many more of these sort of topics and many more sort of things like this, where it gives you, the audience, a chance to call in. Usually I am interviewing many different guests on the show. We've had a black teacher on before. We've had someone in social care. We've had last week someone talking about black motherhood. We've done group panels as well with black queens and black kings as well. We've done that sort of stuff. We've talked about fatherless homes. So there's many different stuff that you can find as well if you go to the Just Talk Black on the YouTube. And just click on that and you can watch many different shows out there. But please guys, let's get those thumbs up. You know, as I always say on every show, if you are just listening in the background and you do have it on in the background, just take that 1 little minute just to get the thumbs up in the chat, and just subscribe if you are new. I like to say just welcome to the Just Talk Black show. Really do appreciate all you guys who are participating and who are listening and who put some nice comments in the chat as well, seeing that's been going off. And yeah, so you know, if I think that will be it. If you do want to quickly call in, anybody quickly, I know there's a lot of shy people who are listening and say, you know what, I want to phone in, but they get too shy or too nervous. You know, don't be nervous. I am very soft and I will be very soft with you. So I'm just literally going to give it that 1 minute to do. But while I'm waiting for that, I will bring up where you can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. And if you do want to get on the show, that's the number there to call, which is 074-7153-9533. And if you do want to be a guest on the show, just call that number. We can have a conversation. And basically, as simple as that is what I do is send you out a quick application form. Fill that in very quick. We do a 10-minute test after that of your webcam and your internet to make sure it's okay. And then once that is okay, we will book you in for a date for the show. Just to show you guys as well, this is the My Black Solution. So this is another part of my company that I have now launched, people. This is now launched. My Black Solution. This is going to be the WhatsApp group. So if you are interested in joining that, it's naz.io/My Black Solution. Just type that in your web browser. It's a new community that I'm starting, and that will basically be many different things. So you can find black events and black vendors and many different things. So if you like to join that, you can join that. But also as well, I will show you another company which is also mine, which is the Black Men's Brotherhood WhatsApp group. This group has been going on from last year. I started it, and it is absolutely going good. There's some good, really good black kings in there supporting one another, helping one another. So if you do know a black king who would like to be in sort of a group like this, you can basically take a screenshot of that, and it's the bottom. You will find us nads.io, and that is at Black Men's Brotherhood. So you can also find us that. But what I also like to say to people, in the description of this show on YouTube, you can find a form now that you can fill out and give me a feedback form. Basically, it's a feedback form just telling us what you thought about the show, or what you would like to see on the show, or how we can even improve the show, you know. So that form is now available. Just click on the link in the description, and that will basically take you to a form that you can fill out, and just give me some like ideas of what you would like to see on the show and how we can improve the show, and what you liked about the show and what you didn't like about the show as well, you know. But be kind, be very nice. And that's it, guys. You know, that will be it for today on the Just Talk Black show. I will be doing definitely a part 2 of this, because it is such a deep topic, and I've got so much more to go in depth on it. And so next time, guys, I will see you on next week's show, Thursday. We are gonna have a special guy called Rory, who is coming on, and he's gonna be talking about some stuff that he does with his company and what he's gonna be promoting. So that will be on next week, Thursday at 7:30 p.m. So guys, please get the likes up. Please subscribe to the channel as well. It does help push the channel out there and let a lot more black people find this channel. As I said, this is for the black community. I help air as much black people as I can, and who's got black owned businesses and who have got testimony as well. I've had many people come on and give their testimony of things that they've been through in their life and how they came through the other end of that and how they survived it and stuff. So that's it, guys. That's me from today. So thank you for supporting me. Big love out to all of you out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at us. Wanting love. But are we ready? We say we want forever, but we still bleeding from before. Carrying old pain, walking through a brand new door. We love with our guards up, smile but our hearts tense. Asking for commitment, but scared of what it represents. We blame the past lovers, but never check inside. Still healing from the nights we promised we were fine. We say this one feels different, but patterns don't lie. If we don't face the wounds, they follow every time.
Can we love without running? Can we stay when it's hard? Can we listen, not defend, when it's hitting the heart?
Are we truly ready for love? Or just lonely and hoping it works? Do we know how to hold each other without passing the hurt? Are we ready for love? Real love, not survival. Healing before we touch, so our love don't turn tribal.
We grew up watching struggle, called it normal, called it life. Saw love mixed with silence, saw affection mixed with fights. Strong black love deserves peace, not just chemistry and fire. It needs truth in the mirror, and growth that don't get tired. We don't talk about healing till it shows in our tone, till we argue about nothing and feel unseen at home. Love ain't proving you right, it's choosing to understand. It's doing the inner work before you reach for a hand.
Healing is attractive, accountability too. Loving me starts with loving what's broken, yeah. Are we truly ready for love?
Are we truly ready for
Or
love?
just scared to be alone?
Do we know?
Know how to build or just repeat what we've known? Are we ready for love? Real love rooted and strong. Where Healing is the doorway. Love is the sequel. Thank you for watching the Just Talk Black Show.